Hello, everybody, and welcome to Stout. This is just kind of a off the wing thing here. I got Michael Komaroff, the Stout King.
Hello, BuMpY.
Hello, and myself, BuMpY. We're here. Cheers to Dio in the chat. Yeah, we're gonna be drinking Stout after Stout after Stout. We're gonna see how far we can go, I guess. So, Michael, if you want to go ahead and show
Okay.
what you're
So
bringing.
I have from Southern Tier, which is in Lakewood, New York, which is upstate, probably about 8 hours from where I am here in Brooklyn. Their 2X Stout, which is a double milk stout at 7.5%. And on the side, it's best by the 4th of May. So I wouldn't have worried about this one even past the 4th of May, but it's within the date that the company says it's good. So I'm going to pour it into the glass. Let's see if you can see it as I do it here. And kind of a little bit of an Alex kind of pour. Got most of it into this glass and very dark brown look to it. I could already tell you I probably can't see through it. You can get kind of, like a red U off the side, maybe through it, but it's pretty opaque. And I have like a 2-finger head here, a very tan color, the very compact bubbles that you see sometimes. And there's a lot of carbonation shooting up through the top. So I'm just going to get a nose on it, and then you can pour yours too.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so you're getting a lot of dark roasted malts, maybe a mild coffee as well. Can't smell lactose, which I'm not even sure this has or does not. Some milk stouts do have lactose, so I can't smell that, but seems to smell really nice. Mostly dark roasted malts, though. And I'm finishing my pour here, getting the last out. But it looks like a nice beer in the glass anyway. So that's what it looks like in the glass. The head is still holding up very strong at the top of the beer, and it definitely looks good.
It's been a while since I've had that one. Years and years. Right. And I will say, if there's anybody that's watching, if you do want to join up, if you want to join in the stout festivities, just bring a stout, 2 stouts, whatever. And we're just going to see where this goes, I guess.
There's always room for somebody else.
Yeah. So, yeah, Beerman, Dio, whoever's out there, just let me know in the chat if you want to join up. I can get you the link, but you must bring stouts, and we'll accept porters as well. So my first one is from Burlington Beer Company. They're out of Williston, Vermont, and this is called Choir of the Dead. This is a 2021 variant, an Imperial Vanilla Stout aged in bourbon barrels. Comes in at 10% ABV. Lovely can art there. Very appropriate for Good Friday.
Yeah, perfect. It's perfect.
Oh, there we go. Tight
Like
tab on this one.
Like the sound of that can pop.
All right.
And let's see what it looks like in the glass.
Get the pour sound.
That's a nice head for a 10%er.
Yeah. So an extremely dark head. I mean, this beer, it's black. I don't have to really look at the color. I mean, if you get a head that dark,
right,
beer, it's black. So yeah, this is an extremely dark chocolate head. Pretty compact. Kind of looks like chocolate fluff. It's kind of what the head looks like on top. So yeah, really nice looking Imperial Stout, and some aromas on this. A little bit of a cherry note in there, actually. Chocolate, cherry, and It's got that kind of not baker's chocolate, but it's definitely a darker chocolate. And then there's that kind of added sweetness from the vanilla, so it kind of lightens it up a little bit, but it's not smelling like a milk chocolate. So
are you getting booziness in the smell?
There's a bit of barrel action in there, so a little bit of the oak from the bourbon barrels.
So you can tell it's not a session beer just from the.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So,
do you want to take the first sip and go first? You can, since you're on the screen.
Oh, sure. Cheers.
Cheers.
So let's attack the mouthfeel in this one. It's got a light side to it, but then it's got a thick, like marshmallowy gooiness as well. It's kind of it does that bubble effect I've talked about in some other beers, where it's almost like there's this jelly that's surrounded by a lighter liquid. So it starts off on the palate kind of lighter and a little bit more on the wet side, and then in the it's almost like you burst that bubble and there's this kind of thicker smooth feel to it. So it's got layers, I guess, even on the palate. There's definite like oaky bourbon type flavor. Getting the vanilla, the darker chocolate, but that kind of goes along with that vanilla, like I said, so it kind of adds like a sweetness to like a more bitter chocolate. I'd say a little bit of that cherry note kind of comes through as well. There's no cherry in this. That might be coming from the bourbon cask. So,
what about the alcohol? Is it masked?
It's pretty well masked, I'd say, for 10%. I mean, it's got a little bit of a burn going down, and you get just that kind of that touch of the bourbon. So you kind of taste a little bit, but it's not like the rest of the beers up here. Alcohol is down here. So
okay, so it's not one of these ones. Sometimes you get the ones that are so boozy that you almost have to fight them to get them down. This one's not like that.
Cheers. Yeah, Stoney, if you got some stouts, if you want to come on and do a live. Never seen you on a live before. It'd be fun.
It's funny if you got
gives you an excuse to start drinking right now.
That'd be great if somebody else came on.
But yeah, a little bit of graininess also kind of on the finish. I do get a little bit of a grain like flavor in there. Bitterness on this one is moderate. It's not too high for an imperial stout. So it keeps it at a nice drinkable level. But yeah, I'll continue to drink on this one. And
okay, you can bring me up.
I haven't eaten anything. I usually don't eat much in the mornings. So yeah, this is going to be.
I was going to say, do you have some fruit bars or something to get in case as you're going you need some food, because that's the kind of thing. I haven't eaten much either. I had a muffin. I had a muffin this morning. It's all I had with my coffee. And that's all.
Yeah, I got some chips or something.
Okay, because sometimes to break it up, the water helps too. That's why I have water over here also.
Yeah. I got my water. I've been drinking a lot of water lately.
So as you can see, the head has now subsided from that 2-finger head to more of what you expect in a stout like this. It's like a half a finger head, but as you look at it, it does continue to regenerate, and it's pretty nice head anyway. But it's diminished to where it's down to this part of the glass before it filled the whole glass. And okay, let me do the nose again. like I said, mostly dark roasted malts. There might be some mild coffee in the background, but it's not very strong. And that's about all I'm getting. Just the dark roasted malts as the primary smell. But let's get a taste on it. Cheers, BuMpY.
Cheers, Michael. Do you have a green light in your room or something?
I do not.
Oh, I saw it flash green when you raised up your glass. So that's what.
I wonder what that. You think that's from the fluorescent?
Oh, maybe. It was just kind of weird because you like raised up your glass and I saw green.
It probably came. I have fluorescent lights over me. It probably came through the beer. Guess that's what it was. Okay, so the taste does follow the nose in that the dark roasted malts are the primary taste you get as well. Let's see if I can find some other tastes that are in here. It's more bitter than it's sweet. So I assume that it's either a coffee kind of thing, or you can get bitterness from the dark roasted malts as well. So it could be from that also. Maybe mild coffee, but it's certainly not. It's not out there where you could definitely say it's a milk stout. It's not a coffee stout. So it's maybe not coffee. It's smooth and creamy. It doesn't say on the label whether there's lactose added or not. So I assume it's not. Usually they tell you if it is, but it is creamy. The mouthfeel is medium. But I wouldn't call it a heavy beer. It's definitely on the medium size, and it's on the lower end of medium. The alcohol is definitely masked, but it's not masked to the point where this would be a chugger. This is still one you'd want to sip on. You wouldn't want to chug this. You can tell that this is not a session beer off the top. It's got a little extra oomph in it, a little extra feel to it that you could tell it's not one you want to be, chugging. But it goes down pretty easy. It could be dangerous. The smoothness is very high, and you want to go back and get another taste. The finish is kind of dry, where you want to go back and get another taste. Southern Tier is one of these companies that I've been drinking for a really long time. I don't think they're known for their stouts. I think they're more known for their IPAs. But I think this is a fairly old stout. I didn't look, when the first time they brewed this is, but it's been around for a while. I've had this several times. And this one is another one that came in one of my mystery packs from the co-op. That's one of the better things I've gotten lately, because in the last few I've gotten, it's been kind of disturbing. I got some cans the last time that were, definitely a little bit out of date. They were drinkable, but they certainly weren't at the top end of their, beer life, if you know what I mean. With porters and stouts, especially ones this one's close to 8, 7.5. The fact they tell you it's good till May 4th, this would be good a couple of months past that. It wouldn't go bad that fast. But I guess they have to give you a date just so you know when they think it's best by.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying this, and I would recommend this beer for somebody who's trying to drink stouts. It's a little bit headier than, let's say, a Guinness, extra, which is 5.6. So it's a couple of points higher in ABV, and it's a little bit stronger tasting. As far as milkiness, it's a milk stout. I guess the milkiness is the creaminess. So you're getting the creaminess in it. And it's also smooth, goes down pretty easy. And like I say, you want another sip as you go. Getting some nice lacing. I don't know if you can see it on my camera, not on the side. So it does, the head retention is pretty good. It comes back, and the lacing is pretty nice on the side. Now you do get Southern Tier in New Hampshire, right?
Yes.
In the whole Northeast, I think that's where their distribution mostly is.
Yeah, we get Southern Tier. One of the beers that I haven't had from them that I really want to have, but I don't think if it comes out, then I think that people buy it before I get to it, or I'm just looking in the wrong place. But they have like a 2-time Christmas. I believe it's like a like a strong ale or something like that they put out during Christmas time.
I've never seen that, but that's something I definitely would buy. So that might have some spice in it.
Yeah, winter warmer. Maybe that's what it is. Like a extra heavy winter warmer.
But we get some Southern Tier, and the fact that the co-op does carry it means they'll always have one or two of their beers in their regular section. So I always look at their beers, and then when they turn up in these mystery packs, what all it means with these mystery packs is they have extra beers downstairs, so they package up 12 of them, and they cut the price in half almost, and some maybe even more than half.
Oh,
so it turns out you're only spending 90 cents a beer, where most of the other ones are $1.50, $1.80. It varies. But I got 3 of these, and I did 2 of them at one of my Thursday get-togethers with my big group, and I had this one left, so it seemed like a perfect time to use it.
Yeah, no, that's good. No, for a mystery pack to have it cost less too.
Well, that's how they can move the beer. I just get angry at them when the dates go past, because what they're saying to you is, and especially when it's an IPA, BuMpy, how fast the hop fade can go on some of those, where, you say to yourself, hey, if you give it to me at the very end of it, that's as late as I really want to drink it. And if you give it to me, it's a couple of months later, even at 90 cents, I wonder if it's worth it. But a lot of times I'm able to drink that. If I'm having a couple of beers, I'll have it as the second beer. And I'm just, just to get rid of it kind of thing. And I've mentioned to the beer buyer, they should be careful about the dates. And what she said is that's why we put them into this thing. But I said, you have to take into account IPAs when they do go. A lot of times they go. And then you're not going to, if the hops are not active in an IPA, it could almost be a bad beer, so to speak. I haven't had any drain pours. I always drink it, but you notice the difference in the quality once it's, if an IPA is more than 3 months old, I think it starts to fade even quicker. Drunken One is telling Josh to get in here.
Yeah.
So maybe Josh will join us.
Well, I said too, because okay, so here's what Josh says. He says, I just have high ABV stouts. What was I just discussing with you before we started the show? My lowest ABV stout I have is 10%, so yeah.
Tell Josh, tell him to feel free to jump right on with us.
Sure. You don't have to, if you just have one stout, whatever, that's fine.
He doesn't have to do multiple. He just does one, that'd be fine. Everybody has a different tolerance.
Now he's got to drop his car off for tint.
You can tell him that we're going to be going for a while too. We might go, like you said, you're willing to go till 3, so maybe he can join us when he comes back.
Yeah, we'll have a few. There's no way I'm going to drink these all within 1 hour. That'd be crazy.
No, we can talk about other beer-related things as we go. We're sipping. We're not trying to set any records here. We're just trying to have fun, drink stouts, and talk about beer in general.
Now, I took these out of my fridge probably. When did I take them out? I think when I was creating the little thumbnail thing that I made there, which was about an hour before the start of the show. So I had these out for an hour. It's been another 18 minutes since we started. So an hour and 15, we'll call it, just to be around there. Still cold. They're still very cold because they're in my extra cold fridge. So I'm hoping this, as it warms up, I'm hoping more comes through, because right now this one is just, it's like I've had this one before. I've never done a review on it, but I've had it, and it just seems dull right now.
Okay, so maybe in a couple of more minutes, some of the other flavors might start coming out. I was going to say that I've seen John Anilli do some Burlington reviews, and he gives you credit for giving him the beers, which means you're turning him on to them because you've had them and it's a quality brewer. And he seemed to like the Burlington beers that he tried too.
Yep. Yeah, I gave him each one of these beers I've had, actually, I've given him. So I don't know which one. I think he did the Choir of the Dead. That's what I'm drinking now.
He did tell me that he's been very happy. One thing about being in Massachusetts, that he's had access to things that he never could get in Georgia. So he's been happy at both the fact that he can go to breweries, try different stuff out, and he's close enough to those, to Trillium and to I don't think he's been to Trillium or Treehouse yet, but he hopes to go sometime in the near future anyway, and check those out. And he's happy you're so close also, where he could come and visit you and you can visit him, and which is great.
Yeah, we hung out last night. We met up. We're hoping Tanner would be able to make it too, because Tanner was like, "Oh, I want to join you guys," but I mean, Tanner's in Rhode Island, so it's like
he's a longer drive away. It's a couple of hours.
I mean, even if like I had an idea, we could go to Boston, as to like Fire and Ice in Boston, but that's like that would put both. My wife had to get out of work, and she had to work this morning. So that would have added on like an extra hour for myself and my wife to drive. It would have added on an extra a lot of time for John and Kate to be able to get there, but it would have made it more equal for Tanner to be able to get there.
As far as the distance.
Yeah, as far as the distance, but it was like, the place that we went to was like 20 minutes away from John. It was 40 minutes away from me. So it was
hopefully in the future, depending on how the dates go, maybe at some point the three of you can get together, and that'd be great. I know Tanner drove up for one time. I saw him when you were on together, the three of you. And I think that was one that the whole group was on. Alex, the beer master's there. Whoa.
Yeah, it's not going to happen there, Alex. My wife would not be happy at me.
And Alex, mine would be distressed. So it's not going to happen. I mean, she would be.
She's going to come home from work. I'm going to be like tipsy.
That's it. Hey, Michael, another beer tasting thing. What's that about? Well, BuMpy and I decided to drink a few, but kind of thing.
Yeah.
No, look,
something I do want to do. So I am gonna get another glass once this gets down. I'm gonna pour it into another glass because my second beer comes from the same company, and it's another Imperial Stout. Now it's aged differently, different barrels and stuff. But I want to do a cuvee between these two.
Okay.
To see what happens.
All right, that sounds good too. And plus, we don't even have to rate this beer until you could do your two Burlingtons, and I could do this and another one, and then we could rate both of them at the same time. Because I have another glass too. I can leave this and we could start another one anytime you're ready, for sure. So it's not. Everything is very laid back, and we can do whatever we want. There's not any set thing that has to be one way or another. So. As I drink on this beer more, which I think is a positive thing for this beer, it's getting even more creamy. The taste is getting even creamier as it warms up, which I guess for a double milk stout is a very positive thing, because what you'd worry about is as this warms, you'd worry that it might get, very bitter, and so far it's not. So it's a bitter versus sweet, if you're saying how this is, but it's not bitter enough. I don't know. They don't have what the IBUs are on it, but it's not one which is it can't be very high IBUs, whatever. It might be like 40 though, maybe. I don't know. Just guessing.
Vodka.
Some companies put the IBUs on. I was going to say I could look on Untapped to see if they list the IBUs. Sometimes they give them to you. Sometimes they don't. But I can look it up on Untapped and see if they do give you the IBUs. Sometimes you wonder if the IBUs that they give are always accurate, but let's see what they say here. Have you ever had their Warlock, which is their, let's see, I think that's another one of their dark pumpkin beer, I think. Let's see. Do we have IBUs? Okay, so that's their IPAs. That's not what I want. This is it. This is what I want. 55 IBUs, BuMpy, on mine. So for 55 IBUs, the bitterness is there, but it's not intense.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, I'd have to look it up for this one. I would guess the IBUs on this, they probably have it right around 70. It's probably what what they're gonna say, but I mean, it doesn't. Like I said, it's kind of a moderate bitterness. The bitterness is picking up a bit more as I continue to drink on it, but it's still not like I've had some imperial stouts that they were just so bitter. It was like, whoa, this thing's definitely going to age. This one is from 2021 as well, so
I assume
it's
the one I'm
already
having is from 2021 also, since its its due date is in 2022. So this was probably brewed at the end of last year, I'm assuming. So your dog is coming back into the house now, which is cool.
Yeah, one of them. Yeah, Kobe.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
It's funny. Audrey has problems with being very highly allergic to cats, but she's also allergic to dog dander. So the only dogs that could ever be here would be ones like those, like the one that Obama had, something poo. Now there's ones that are like hypoallergenic dogs because she's sensitive enough to the dander that even dogs affect her. So
yeah, I was always allergic to. Well, I was allergic to animals growing up. I had bad allergies with it. Most of the dogs,
you outgrew them, or you're
issue,
able
but
to
cats
tolerate them.
If I get around a cat, oh gosh.
Audrey has actually been hospitalized once when we were in Los Angeles because she picked up like a cat blanket and didn't realize it, breathed it in, and we had to go. And then you go, and these lung nurses had to stabilize her thing because obviously you got to get you breathing again. And she couldn't hardly breathe. They gave her epinephrine, and she ended up having a lot of antihistamines, and then she was okay. But cats are definitely her enemy. She can't handle any cat dander, for sure.
Cats are evil little things.
Well, they're kind of weird. They're kind of weird as pets anyway. It's not exactly, if you're in trouble, you don't expect your cat to save you. I mean, for the most part, they're going the other way, and that's it. Your dog might save you, but at least he's around. He's not leaving, that kind of thing.
Your dog's either gonna just greet the intruder and wagging tail and licking him, or scare him away.
But he's not leaving. The cat might decide to just run away.
Yeah,
they're not very useful.
The one thing the cat will do, because this has been brought up quite a few times on our off airs, because Josh has cats, and a few of the people we know have cats.
Chadio has cats too.
Chadio has cats, but even Ron Terrio has a cat now because it found his home.
It's a feral cat.
Yeah, but I guess if you die, or if you like say you have like diabetes and you have like that gangrene thing going on, the cats will actually eat your body.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
A little morbid, but interesting.
Yeah, sure. So, cats are evil.
If you ask me dogs versus cats, I'm in the dog camp anyway. That's just how I've always been, because I like affectionate animals, and cats to me are never. Now I shouldn't say never.
I think cats are kind of screwy because they don't give you warning. Like they'll be all cuddle up on you and they'll purring and good cat, you're holding it, and without warning they're just like, I've had enough. They claw you.
I know.
They hiss. It's like,
I think if you talk,
super happy. What the hell?
If you talk to any of the pet people you mentioned, to Josh and to Chadio, and even to Jay, who said his feral cat has zapped him a couple of times, you just basically have to be aware at all times that it could happen just like that. And that's just how cats are.
All right, I got to let me get another glass to pour this into, just so I can.
Okay, so you can do that, and I'll talk a little bit more as we go about mine. I'm down to my last sip on this first one, which is okay. And as they say, it's easier to percent ABV in a 12-ounce bottle. Yours is a 16-ounce can, so you have more volume too.
That more volume and more alcohol, yeah.
And 10% alcohol. And you already told me that your next Burlington is higher than 10. So
yes, 12% on the next one.
Yeah,
we're doing the Jacob's Ladder,
Yeah, I'm going to be doing, my next one is this Mikkeller one, which is 10.5%. So I'm upping my ABV as well on the next one that I'm about to do. And I'm going to do it in a different glass only because then I don't have to rinse out this glass. I can just go get that other beer whenever we're ready to do the second one. So you would rather wait till you do the second Burlington, then you can just give 2 ratings at the same time. That would make it easy because you're going to do your cuvee.
Yeah, I could do that and then rate the cuvee. I just got to get kind of the way I feel about the way this was drinking. It didn't drink the same to me as it did in the past. I'm not sure why.
You know, it's interesting. From one time to the next, your taste buds can be totally different.
Yeah.
And the beer can be different too.
It could have been the food I had last night. I mean, I did brush my teeth before going to bed. I brushed my teeth when I got up too. But the food I ended up having for my main course was wicked. They over-seasoned it. It was super salty. It kind of fried my tongue.
Yeah, that can do it for sure.
Yeah.
And spicy can mess up your tongue too if you have something super spicy.
yeah, Flacco. Spicy can mess up your tongue.
For sure. And some people say if you drink, those very high IBU beers, like Palate Wrecker or Resin from 6 Point, that can mess up your thing where you're not ready to taste another beer. And if you go from that to a stout, it just kind of, your tongue doesn't know how to react to it. It's like you really zapped it, and now you're bringing another total flavor in. And it's probably not fair to the stout to rate it because your tongue's not ready. Your mouth is not ready.
Sours I've heard are good for like resetting the palate. It's probably something to do with like the lower pH.
Yep.
In a sour. So if you get like a Berliner Weiss or something in between beers, you can
Well, when I try to do the things that I do with my groups, I try to regulate them that way. But the problem is I'm not the only one doing the beer. There's other people bringing stuff, and they say, let's see if we can work this out together. So we do it. But you leave it up to them to say when they're ready to go. And sometimes it works. I have to say, sometimes it does work. Sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on, putting it together the best you can. But I have found now lately, after talking about it, that you really never want to start out with high ABV stuff at the beginning because people. It is a scam likely thing.
Oh yeah, I had one of those earlier too. Now they're calling you.
So that you get those no matter what. There's
all the time. 90% of my phone calls are scams.
It's just the way. It's just part of life in the world we live in now, and that's it. And I get it. We still do have a landline here.
I'm getting those text messages as well that are like attached to a bunch of different numbers. And it's like I want to report it, but for some reason I can't report the text, I can only delete it and not click on the links that come through.
And they tell you never to click on the link because what it does is they can hook you up and really cause bad stuff.
That's they basically it gives them a way into your
So you delete it right away when you get it, and at least that they don't have the power kind of thing.
At least when I get like an email and stuff like that, I can report it as like
Well, then you still have the email, and you can send it, and they can check it, kind of thing. All right, so are you going to pour your next Burlington beer now, and I'll get my glass now to pour my next one.
Yeah. All right. So I'll bring myself back up to big so we can see it. And I'm not sure what Michael's shirt says. We'll ask him when he gets back. I know it says something about Brooklyn or something like that. So my next Burlington beer, it's another fancy label. What does your shirt say, Michael? Because Drunken One was curious.
Tell him it says photographed in Brooklyn.
Photographed in Brooklyn. All right.
Where we are now in Brooklyn, New York. All right, so what's this one called?
This one's called Seances and Sacrifices. It's a 2022 variant of Imperial Maple Stout aged in maple bourbon barrels at 12% ABV.
So this is another big one.
Another big one. It was canned on, because they do put the canned on dates on these things. Of course, they put it right in the worst spot.
So you can't
Here we go. Yeah, they put like tiny gold lettering on white. It's like kind of blends in a little bit there. Looks like February 18th of this year. So fairly fresh. It's only a couple, 2 months. So go ahead, and I still have the remnants of the other beer.
Okay, so you save some so you can do your cuvee.
Yeah, I got that too in the other glass, so I can mix these two together. All right. But dirty glass, but that's okay. Imperial Stout after Imperial Stout, it's not going to make
it all melds together.
Oh, there we go. This one didn't build as large of a head. May that be because of the other beer. Usually it actually increases the head, I found. But I was able to fit the whole can in this one pour this time. Another dark head, so another black beer base. Not as dark as the first one. This one's more of like a mocha colored head. The bubble formation is also not as fluffy. It's got some medium bubbles, so it's a little bit on the rockier side. Still some nice kind of, should we say, memory foam on top. But yeah, I see some nice red hues, rich, fiery red reflecting through the bottom there. Beautiful red, actually. Evil. I got two of them. I got two dots. It looks like evil eyes staring back at me. So, yeah. Very.
I love those. I love those. That can design is really something.
Yeah, they do. Burlington does a great thing, and they don't only do like really odd, things like with the pictures and everything like that, but they also do these weird shapes with their labels.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
When you first showed the can, because it's Burlington, I just like the way they have the images set up with all those angles and stuff. It's really nice.
I think this one, because that looks like somebody from Mardi Gras, like this is like New Orleans,
right?
Type thing. So in February, I think that's like right around the corner from when Mardi Gras happens, right?
Right. I think you're right.
So they probably brewed this one for like the Mardi Gras theme, and the other one was brewed in October. So this is probably more for like a Halloween thing. But yeah, I'll get some aromas on this, and we'll bring up Michael so he can show what he's bringing next.
I can pour mine and let you know what it is.
Oh, yeah, you get the maple. Yeah, sweet maple chocolate. A little bit of that kind of oaky barrel. Yeah, this one made me go, oh wow, the aromas on this are nicer than the Choir of the Dead one. So that sweet maple, and oak and chocolate. What I'm noticing, there's not like a lot of coffee out of these either. So I'm not a big like coffee stout person, because a lot of times it comes off like black coffee. I'm not big on black coffee. I like my coffee sweet. So yeah, I'm liking the aromas and I haven't tasted this one, but the flavor anyways of not having a lot of black coffee is nice.
Okay, so I'm graduating into a 16-ounce can like BuMpY had his first two, and this is from Mikkeller. And Mikkeller is the non-evil twin. His brother is in the United States, and he's in the United States, I think now too, maybe. I'm not even sure. But this one is a 10.5% Beer Geek S'mores Shake from their limited series. And you see it has like a little guy on the front. I don't know what he's doing. He's kind of like, he's doing something there with his gimmicky thing and whatever.
Has he got a fork?
What was the question?
Is he holding a fork?
Yeah, it looks like he's holding a fork and it's going down. You see how There's like something going into
his. Oh, he's got like a candle with a flame.
It's like a candle with a flame, and the wax is going down like into
Huh.
That's what it looks like anyway. It's kind of weird. But I'm gonna open it up and I'm gonna put it into the glass, and it's a 16-ounce glass, so I probably can't get it all in one shot. But this is darker than the last one I did. And you know, it's funny, you're getting, as you can, let's see if you can see it. My hand is in the way. You're getting kind of like a red highlight with this. I don't know if you can see it in the thing. So it's very dark brown in the color, but you're getting a red. There's a red highlight in there. And maybe that's, you know, the s'more shake element of what this is in. Maybe we're going to get some cherry or other things, because there's definite redness in this. So it's dark brown, but there's like a redness. Let me look in the color. Yeah, you can see the redness back on the side. So there are red hues through this. The head is kind of like a reddish brown color. So you don't, in stouts, you generally don't get reds per se. You had a little bit of red in yours too.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, and I still have a little bit in the can, is showing a little like redness on the edges. Let me get a nose on it. Wow. It's like an intense sweetness. Now, a s'more, isn't a s'more like a marshmallow in a cracker?
Graham cracker.
Graham cracker.
Toasted melted marshmallow and
okay,
chocolate.
so I'm getting the graham cracker in the smell. And it's funny, I'm getting some of that same cherry that you got in your first one in this as well. So I don't know if that's the redness color or it's something else, but I'm getting a cherry kind of nose as well.
Is that one barrel aged at all?
Let's see what they say on the side. If they say whether it's barrel aged or not. They're not saying. Oh, it is. No, they're not saying. They're just saying oatmeal stout made with marshmallow, graham crackers, vanilla, and natural flavor. So they're not saying it's barrel aged. Okay. So we assume by them not saying it that it is not.
Yeah, usually they would shout it
they
out.
They will tell you. So now as I continue to pour it, it's looking blacker, but it's still dark brown. It's not black. But if you notice, did you see how the head now declined already? And it opened up as like a full finger, and now it's just down to that slim look. But there's still red highlights on the top of it. And it looks really good. I'm getting kind of a vanilla kind of smell as well. Kind of like a sweet vanilla. I'm interested in when I do taste it, if I'm going to get the s'mores in the taste as well, because I am getting the graham crackers and the marshmallow kind of thing in the nose. I've had other Mikkeller beers that I've liked. I can't say I've liked everything I've had from them, but I've had other ones that I have liked, and they're definitely a good company. I can't say I've had a lot of their stuff, but I've had some of it.
Yeah, I've never had a Mikkeller. I've had the Evil Twin stuff, but yeah, never the Mikkeller stuff.
Well, the actual Evil Twin, and his name is Jeppy, is his first name. He actually lives in Brooklyn too, and he has a restaurant called Torst, Torst, where he has all this stuff. And Evil Twin now has 2 tap houses, one in Dumbo, which is under the Brooklyn Bridge, and one in Queens in, I think, Ridgewood. So it's funny how as much as I love beer, I'm not really a bar hopping person, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's because of, some people would say it's because I'm cheap, but it's that I guess I just don't go out that much doing it, even though in the times that I've done it, where I've gone out to places that have these beers on tap, I always like the experience. So maybe in the future I can do it more. But it's nice having Evil Twin stuff here and so close by too.
Yeah.
So do you want me to give a taste on this?
Yep. Yeah, you can go ahead and go. You're up on screen.
Okay. So now you got the smell. Let's see what the taste is like. Cheers, BuMpY.
Cheers, Michael.
Wow. Okay. It has kind of like a graham cracker first taste. You're getting the marshmallow as well. And that cherry, whatever it is persisting. Medium mouthfeel. Medium, again, like the first one, to the lower end. It's not heavy duty again. It's medium. The taste, I actually really like this. The alcohol is really well masked. This, it doesn't taste like a session because you could tell the alcohol's there, but it's almost like it's drinking like it's 6.5% or 7%, where it's 10.5%. So they are masking the alcohol well. And I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but with the lacing that you are getting on the side, it is like reddish. So, I doubt they add cherries to this, and yet there's something that's producing that red color, unless it's, something in the brewing process, the way the malts are, and the hops are together are doing that. But it's very good.
So Dio said that if you went out with him, he'd buy the first rounds. So make sure you get your most expensive beer first.
So I have to fly into Houston, I guess, in order to do that, which sounds like it would be fun, if nothing else, to meet drunken one, for sure. I don't know. Logistically, I'm in better shape now because already John says that Caitlin and the entourage will be coming down to visit me sometime in the later spring, which they're welcome to come anytime they want. It'll be fun for sure. But I think they almost have to stay over because it's too much to expect to drive 5 hours after you've been drinking, unless Caitlin wants to be the designated driver.
Yeah.
And then I guess John could do whatever he wants, I guess. Then it would be all right. They could go back then, I guess.
That's a long drive, though.
But it is a long drive for sure. And a lot of it could be just getting out of New York, because sometimes the worst part of the trip is just the circle around New York, because the traffic can be incredibly heavy duty. I mean, really bad sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So the only people in the beer group that I've actually met are Ron Terrio and our George Washington Bridge character, who everybody knows. It's funny now. You've heard the stories, BuMpY, so it doesn't make it
with James, yeah.
James, and he came this summer. Ron had been here before in 2015, but James came with him this summer to one of my Thursday night things. It was great, but it was on a night where there was flooding, and it took him a long time to get here. So he only got here for the last 5 beers. We still had a lot of fun. It was great seeing him. But those are the only 2 people that I've met. I'm closer with a lot of the other people than I am with James, but hopefully at some point we can meet everybody. I mean, it sounds like a possibility.
Yeah. I know that John was talking about going to New York to see you and stuff like that. I said, oh, maybe I can go along too. I don't like to throw myself into
you're welcome to come along. But again, if either it would have to be a designated driver if you're going back.
Yeah, or find a motel or something around,
or someplace to hang out. But again, you got the cost factor. Motels are very expensive here too.
Yeah.
So it's not like something that would be easy to do. But maybe Caitlin would be the designated driver. It's possible she'd be willing to do it. John says she's not as into beer as he is, so maybe she doesn't really care. It's possible.
Yeah, if you have some cocktails, though, she'll drink those.
You'd have to control the situation. See, I always wondered, since I have never been a designated driver, I'm always a designated drinker. So I always have to get other people. Talking Audrey into driving sometimes has worked, where she's been willing to drive, and it's made it easier when she has. But it's not as much fun for somebody who, as everybody else is, drinking, and they don't get to drink at all. So I do understand.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see anything else I can get from this. It is giving you the s'mores kind of feel, though. You're getting the marshmallow, you're getting the graham cracker combination. And again, I don't know where the cherry's coming from, but it's here. And the finish, is kind of like sweet, but it's sweetness that's well done with kind of bitterness, which I guess the bitterness must come from the hops, maybe. So it's well balanced. Because if it was all s'mores and it would be too sweet, you would probably get kind of a cloying feel. And it's not cloying at all. It's well put together. So it definitely is doing a good job of being balanced. I'll just keep sipping on it, and you can do your shot on your Seances and Sacrifices.
All right. Yeah, so I have been drinking on this one. I am liking this one more than the Choir of the Dead. It's even though it's not aged as long. It's a year fresher, pretty much. Yeah, it's good maple and bourbon barrel aromas, nice chocolate note in there. No cherry. I wonder, does vanilla give a cherry note?
I don't know, but it's funny how two of the beers we've had cherry note.
But they both also had vanilla too, because that one had vanilla.
It's possible.
I'm wondering if vanilla can sometimes give off like a cherry type note. Since yours wasn't barrel aged,
it's possible.
Yeah, it smells decent. And cheers.
Cheers, Joy.
This one's more of a medium to full body, quite smooth on the palate. It doesn't have that separation like the other one had. So this one is just all together, just that medium full palate. Plenty of maple. It's sticky on the lips as well. Maple. It kind of has like a maple syrup that's got the oak. So if you basically had like the barrel, like a barrel of maple syrup, in a big wooden barrel, and it's almost like the maple itself picked up kind of some oak type tannins or something. Chocolate notes. All right, there's something where I just when I just swallowed, I didn't have any beer. I just swallowed my own spit. But there was an asparagus flavor that was very odd. Just noticed that now, so I don't know if something's mixing in my mouth now. But there's no asparagus in this for sure. But there's definitely an asparagus flavor I just got.
That's unusual to have a vegetable flavor in it, but that's interesting.
The other thing about this too, like you were asking the 10% one there, if I was getting like the alcohol type notes, and it was kind of like, yeah, there's a burn, there was like a slight something. This one's 12%. No alcohol at all. Alcohol is well hidden in the 12%. There's no burn or anything in the chest. Now could
that one's more dangerous than
it's 2% more alcohol. But that's the other thing is maybe my palate's just become accustomed to it. That's the other thing. I don't know if from the other beer,
I was going to ask BuMpy. I was going to ask you. CBS from Founders is a maple barrel aged beer as well. How does that compare to this? I mean, is that a similar beer? It's about the same alcohol.
Did you say the CBS Founders?
CBS from Founders is another maple barrel aged beer.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's exactly
I have
the
one.
same.
I have one bottle from the last year they made it. I'm going to be drinking that in September of this year. It will be 3 years
Okay,
aged.
so maybe that'll give you a similar impression.
Yeah, I can't remember because last time I had CBS was almost 3 years ago. So I don't quite remember how much of the maple was coming through for me in that. I do remember the first time I ever had it, and I wasn't really detecting the maple notes. But somebody I was sharing the beer with was like totally, wow, there's tons of maple in this, and I'm just like, I'm not getting it. But that was, geez, that was at least 5 years ago at this point.
So your palate may be different now, and when you have it
Yeah.
later, you may feel differently.
Yeah, I can tell you, I'm definitely the effects of alcohol are hitting me.
Yeah, I can feel mine.
I wouldn't go out driving at this point.
No, me neither. I was saying Kyle's there too,
Yeah,
which is nice.
Kyle's around.
And Drunken One's still hanging out. It's interesting, and again, both of us are kind of on an empty stomach. I did have a muffin from Dunkin' Donuts for whatever that's worth. That's in my system, so I did have something this morning. But I'm enjoying this, and it's weird that I'm saying this. The cherry note is the main thing I'm getting, which is very interesting because you'd think, like I say, it's a s'mores shake. So you'd think that the s'mores would be overpowering it, but the cherry, and again, I told you about the red in the color. There has to be some kind of, it may not be cherry. It could just be cherry generated from something else. But the cherry is strong. And I like cherry in beer too. So it's a positive kind of deal. I'm happy with the cherry. I like cherry. And it's kind of like a sweet cherry rather than a sour cherry. It's really good.
Yeah.
This is excellent. And this is the second time I've had this beer because I had it once. This came in that Tavour series of stuff I got. I'm more impressed with it today than I was the last time I had it. But it's funny, when you do it in a group, you only end up getting like 2 or 3 ounces of it. And here I'm getting the chance to have a full pint of it. So maybe that's part of it too.
Right.
Have a short shot. It doesn't give you a chance to really enjoy it sometimes.
They say, when you're tasting a beer, some people say, don't go off your first impression of it. Have a few sips. I say you go off your first impression and then add to that, because sometimes there's notes that you'll get the first time that you drink it that don't reoccur.
Right.
Like they kind of get overwhelmed by some of the other notes and can get lost. But there's certain times, like I've had a beer and it's like, oh wow, I taste like, if it was like an IPA or something, it was like, wow, it's super mango. By the time I've had my third or fourth sip, it's like there's no more mango. Now I'm tasting, something else like peach or something. So I'd say go with the first sips, but also add in what comes later on to that.
So we have to see, BuMpy, if the asparagus reappears or not.
It's still around. That's weird. I haven't eaten asparagus since last week. So it should be fully out of my system.
An unusual taste to find in a beer, though.
It is, especially an Imperial Stout. And it didn't occur. It didn't occur right away. It was one of those, like, I didn't even have beer in my mouth. I just kind of swallowed. But I mean, I've had nothing to eat today. I did brush my teeth. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but yeah, there was definitely this. I've never said asparagus with beer ever in my life. So.
Right, and it's funny because you did have cherry influence from your first Burlington beer, and I have cherry in this, so we have a commonality in that way. And the cherry here it's very positive. I really like it. It's a nice. I'm still getting the graham cracker and the s'mores, though. It's not like it's not. It's almost like, though, the cherry has become the lead taste as this is warming. And I guess I like cherry in beer a lot, so it's a positive thing. But I'm continuing to drink water. I think that's important at this stage.
Cherries. I have to actually get up and get some more water too. This one, like, this is so super sweet with the like, it's not, I shouldn't say it's super sweet, it's not cloyingly sweet, but there's that stickiness on the palate. Like, everything is just so sticky with this.
Well,
I don't know how much the maple is making it stickier, if it's just how, whatever they did, the malts that they used and stuff, and how low they attenuated it. But super sticky palate at this point.
The way you're describing it, though, you seem to like the second one better than the first one.
Yeah.
And what may be extra interesting is when you do the cuvee could turn out to be a good mid thing where you may like that a lot as well.
Horrible.
or it could be a disaster too. Now, I've had cuvées I've done, which I wish I hadn't bothered doing. Yeah. I would have been better off just.
I'm gonna have cherries and asparagus.
No, combination can be good and it can be bad.
I think cranberries and asparagus can go together. Maybe cherries good.
Right. Asparagus, though, is such an unusual taste that and we know you had the taste, because otherwise you wouldn't have said it. So you had the taste. That's weird. Yeah. I'm loving this beer. This is the second time I've had it. Like I said, the first time I just got a little taste, and now I'm getting a full thing. This is excellent. I'm
gonna take a little break, Mike. If you want to go ahead, I'll bring you up. If you want to.
Okay, I can keep talking.
Just keep talking. I'll be right back.
Okay.
And I'm gonna grab a third stout. I'm gonna do the cuvee thing first, and then I'll grab a third stout of whatever I decide.
I'll keep talking while you're doing your stuff. No problem.
All right. How do I make you big? Big. Nope, not like that.
It's okay. That's you.
Oh wait, I know what to do. What am I doing? See, these things are hitting me.
I'm coming next.
These are hitting me so bad. Look, solo layout.
Okay, thank you, BuMpy. So, in terms of overall perception, this Mikkeller is super excellent. I'm really happy with it. As you can see in like I say, the glass lacing on the side, and I don't know if you can. The coloration is hard to see on the camera, but there's kind of like a reddish kind of look to it, almost like a reddish berry look to it on the top, and really good lacing and head retention, but not like it was at the beginning when you had a finger head. Now it's down to this like mild head, but the lacing is really nice. And like I've been saying, by having a full pint of this, it's really been a chance to enjoy the flavor of a really good s'mores shake stout, which I guess the combination itself of that, I probably wouldn't have thought of it, but they did a really good job, and the balance is really good, and I'm enjoying it a lot. And I'm trying to think if I'm getting any extra flavors as it gets warmer. Let's see. I don't know what this cherry thing is, but it's definitely there. And you, like I said, you still can get the graham cracker and the marshmallow, which they describe on the side, and the vanilla. And they said oatmeal stout. So there is a creaminess about this as well. So they said oatmeal stout. So it is creamy, and there's oatmeal in it. And the alcohol is masked very well. More like a session plus, maybe, like I said, 6.5% or 7%, where it's 10.5%. So they've done a really good job with that. And the mouthfeel, like I said, was medium. And this is a very positive beer. And I guess I can say that I've had at least a couple of other Mikkeller beers, but not a lot of them. And I really have not had a lot of Mikkeller stouts as well. So this is my first opportunity, I think, to have a Mikkeller stout. So I am enjoying it. I've had several Evil Twin stouts from Mikkeller's brother. So they're both originally from Denmark. And the Evil Twin who does Evil Twin is now living in my home borough of Brooklyn in New York. But this beer is delightful. I mean, BuMpy, I'm giving this an extra plus, as you'll know by my rating when I give it, but it's definitely out there. Very good.
Nice. Let me tell you when I stood up, because I haven't stood up since we started doing this. Fuzzy. It went down to my legs. I felt the wobbles.
It's 10% plus 12% plus the fact you need eat anything. So
I haven't eaten anything. I've had this is my third water of the day.
Yeah, I keep drinking the water too. But the water is important because it dilutes the effect, which is important at this stage.
Well, just being healthier. Finally taking Dio's advice. He's like, drink your water, boys. It's yeah. So as you get older and stuff, and you have a certain lifestyle, like I have, of drinking lots of beer, and I love to eat red meats, and I never drank water. Like, I would drink water when I work on the weekends, and that was pretty much it throughout the rest of the week. I was just like, water? No, I don't like the flavor of it. But yeah, things started catching up with me a little bit. Gaining weight for one, you get that big old beer gut going. And then, I started having some symptoms of gout. So decided I was going to try to cut back on beer. This show is not doing me any justice of cutting back. But yeah, I've been trying to cut back on my beer consumption a bit, and drinking a gallon of water a day. I should be drinking more based on my body weight, but it's been a huge improvement. I've noticed. I've been doing it for 3 weeks now, drinking a gallon a day, and I felt
what is very important in your normal life.
Right, it's 90. What is it? 97% of what we're made
it's
of.
Almost all your body weight, for sure. So it's important, but especially important if you're drinking high alcohol stout, that you drink beer to kind of modify it a little bit. So now what you have left of your Seances and Sacrifices and your cuvee with the other one, are you going to do the cuvee?
Okay, so now I've got another idea.
Okay, I'm up for anything.
Has there been a triple cuvee?
Uh-oh, what else is going into this cuvee?
When I grab my next beer, it might be interesting to just mix all three of them together to see what happens. So
if you're up for it, I'm up for watching what happens.
Yeah, so I'll go grab my other beer. I'll get that out of the fridge now. I mean, that will give it like 2 minutes to warm up.
Okay, that sounds like an interesting proposition for sure. And I'm excited because, like you said before, cuvées can be interesting, good and bad, and we'll see how it goes.
Yes, and the third beer is from a different brewing company. And it's not barrel aged, I don't believe so. But let me give the scores for the Choir of the Dead. The way this one was drinking, I'd probably score this kind of in I'll give it like a 92.
Okay.
Out of 100. It was better before. I just remember being wowed by it before, and I don't know what changed. Palates can change day to day over time. You shed your you shed skin, you shed your taste buds as well. They do change. Things that you do in life can affect it, depending on what you've eaten. Whatever, you could be sick as well. If you're sick, definitely change your palate and your aromas, but still not bad. I mean, 90, what did I say, 92?
92. And how about Seances and Sacrifices?
This one's a bit better. Like I said, it's a higher ABV. I like the way that the maple's coming through on it. Even getting that weird asparagus flavor out of it eventually, it's still kind of, it wasn't a turnoff. It was like, wow, that's interesting. That's just something messed up on my palate. I'm sure nobody else is going to get asparagus out of this beer. I've never tasted asparagus from a beer before. So there's just something going on with my palate. Need to be the mixture of the Choir of the Dead and this one kind of setting it up. But I'd give this one a 94 out of 100.
Okay.
So both of them are from Burlington Beer Company. They both have skeleton themes going on. They're very dark. Both of them were bourbon barrel aged. Just one was with a vanilla stout. One was with a maple stout in maple bourbon barrels, which would be a maple bourbon barrel. So would that be a bourbon barrel that then they aged maple syrup in, or would that be a maple barrel that they aged bourbon in?
I don't know. You have to ask Burlington, but it's interesting because it's almost like they have to. Some of the maple has to be in it before they bourbon barrel age. You'd think, maybe not. Maybe you can put it.
Yeah.
Now you're a brewer, so is there a last boil where you can put the maple syrup in after it's already been barrel aged?
Well, I've never barrel aged anything, but I'm just thinking because they do have maple bourbons out there, which would use a maple. I think they would age those in a maple barrel. So I think that's what it is. I think
that's probably what
I think it's a maple barrel that's now being reused to age bourbon in, and then they took that. That's kind of what makes sense to me.
That makes sense to me.
Because I haven't had too many maples that stout, maple syrups that are like, oh yeah, this was aged in a bourbon barrel.
Yeah, it almost doesn't make sense.
A bourbon flavored maple syrup.
Just do it like that. I agree with you. I think you're probably right.
Yeah. That'd be interesting though.
Okay, so Beerman said, I'm sorry, missed the majority of this. I kind of woke up late. Don't have any stouts to join, but I'm here to support. So Beerman is here with us, at least in support, which is cool. And that's good. Right. And that's weird that Beerman wouldn't have any stouts available. You'd think he'd have one, but that's okay. I understand.
I think I have enough for a third one. So we go.
We're going to be able to do a beer. We're going to do a triple cuvee.
Cuvee.
Definitely interesting.
Are you doing a third one?
Yes, I am. And I'm going to get my other glass. So, BuMpy, you talk for a minute while I get my glass together.
All right. So, I'm gonna let Michael go first on his, but I'll just show you what, because I gotta go rinse this glass out at this point. This thing is so tainted. This comes from Talks Brewing Company. It's called Inky Cap. So cheers to Flacco out there. Inky Cap. Very interesting can art on this. Now the problem with this beer is it comes from Talk City, but it's brewed by 12%. And I've had some issues with 12% brews out of North Haven, Connecticut. A lot of them don't. They're just not right. You hear a lot about some certain breweries, and a lot of the ones that we get end up coming, like in my area anyways, from 12%, which is a contract brewer. So they basically take somebody else's recipe and they brew it up to help distribute. And I've noticed huge differences from when I've actually had something from the brewery itself compared to stuff coming out of the 12% North Haven, Connecticut brewery. So,
what's this one called, BuMpy?
This one's called Inky Cap from Talks Brewing Company.
Okay, what's the ABV?
13%.
Another action beer. Okay,
it's an imperial stout aged on pistachio nuts, vanilla beans, and cacao nibs.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah. Oh, we got a drunken one.
Yeah. All right,
you
y'all gonna open another one? I had no intentions on coming up. Thanks for having me. I might add. I've got this one here.
Wait.
Beer with the flag on it.
Drunken one has an action stout.
I got this little guy with a flag on it. It's the Bourbon County. It's a 2021. It is because I know Mr. Kormaroff takes care of all these numbers. It's a 14%, Mr. Kormaroff. I had no intentions on coming on here, but if y'all open the third beer, I'll open the first one.
So this is 2021.
2021. Yeah, I was taking out some screwdrivers, but I'll do that. I got my Guinness glass here from Turtle Man from years ago. Anyway, I'm not good with the reviews, but I'll sit and drink a beer with y'all.
Drunken one, this is a surprise.
I know, me too, right? I had no intentions on even being here. All right, so here's the pour. It looks like y'all were having such a great time and needed some company. This is room temperature all the way. I just pulled it from the cellar, and here's the pour. Nice dark head. It is what it is. You know, you've had this beer before, I'm sure. The old Goose Island Bourbon County brand stout. Hooey. Of course, 14%. It doesn't keep the head for very long. Jesse run off as soon as I got here, didn't he? I scared him off. Sweet and sticky. I got one nostril working this afternoon. And then it got quiet.
Go for it.
Give us a full description, drunken one.
Oh, shoot. I'm not good with that, Mr. K, but I'll immediately the head went away. That's just the way it goes on these big 14% beers like that. It's, again, my nostrils are not working well today, or this morning, this afternoon, actually. It's fucking 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I just woke up not too long ago, I might add. Ooh, what happened last night? Yeah, thick and roasty aroma, sweet, plum maybe, prunes maybe, sticky and delicious. I've had it a million times before, and I'm gonna dig into it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Weren't you supposed to work today?
I was, but my wife made up an excuse. she texted my client, said something about we had some family things that she didn't tell me about, although she's typing this to them. I was supposed to have worked. Yikes.
Actually, drunken one had to be on with us today. He couldn't go see his client.
Shoot, man, I didn't want to drive way out there. It's like an hour and almost an hour and a half drive out there to climb a tall ladder a lot, and it's like, no, I'm good, thanks.
It's more fun drinking beer.
It really is, yeah. I mean, it's not something that needs to be done. It's a barn that they're renovating the inside of to add stalls and a tack room and this and that. And so they're just on the building procedure there. They had a bunch of Romex wire that like house wiring run through this metal building, and they didn't like that. So I'm running like conduit and doing it more industrial to where it looks nicer and it's going to be more safe. Anyway, all right. I'm terrible with beer reviews. You can take me down from there, Jesse, if you like.
All right.
So, drunken one, give us a little bit on the taste of that Bourbon County.
Yeah, sweet and sticky, roasty, toasty malts, a bit of prune maybe, or like a raisin, just dark fruits. It's delicious. It's delicious. It's a big beer. It's a 14%. So yeah, it's a heavy hitter. It's got some like you would on alcohol, like whiskeys or whatever. It's got the alcohol legs that are kind of clinging to the glass. It's probably not coming through in the camera, but of course the head went right away, as they do for a big beer. It's room temperature, you know?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm pleased with that. It's okay. You get all the flavors right away, as opposed
Are you
to
getting leather? Because that was something that was kind of brought up.
leather.
We all did
Yeah.
this together. There's like a leather or tobacco in that one that most people picked out.
Hey, that's a good descriptor. Tobacco. Yeah. That is a good descriptor. Yeah. I agree with that one. No, it's very tasty. I'm not good with all the descriptors and stuff, but figured I'd sit in, and if y'all are opening a third one, at least I can do is open the first one. But,
Drunken one, that's a great beer. I've had that before.
It really
and I really
is,
have
yeah.
enjoyed it. I love Bourbon County. I mean, it's
hopefully I can find another one, because this is the only one I had in the cellar. Hopefully I can find another, because it is one to store back. But I don't know. Like I said, I was kind of nursing a hangover with those screwdrivers, and right. But I seen y'all opening the third one, and they're all big beers. I figured, okay, I'll jump on. I'll get in with these guys.
Drunken one's our hero.
Oh shit! Don't say that. Where's Alex when you need him?
He's coming on tonight.
Yeah,
Alex.
y'all get your honey buns or sweet buns or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, more another stout.
Yeah, I know, right?
Alex
Yeah, see, this
more.
was my stout.
Well, let's bring up Michael. We'll see what he's gonna.
Okay, so I've decided on my third one from Flying Dog. It's their Peppermint Bark Stout, and the reason I chose this is it's going to be peppermint, which should be an interesting taste change from those s'mores that I've had before. So we're going to go from s'mores to peppermint, and we'll see what we think about the changeover, which, if nothing else, will be interesting. I have a big glass here, so I'm just going to pour it heavy duty because I know it can't fill the glass. So I'm looking for a big head here, which I'm going to get. Kind of like it looks like an Alex pour.
Okay.
So this is what it looks like in the glass. I have a 4-finger head, which will eventually be beer, and it's dark brown in the look. Flying Dog is out of Frederick, Maryland, which is closer to where I am than anybody else in this group anyway. DC is like 5 hours from me, so Frederick is probably a little bit closer, probably like 4.5 hours. But as you see from the look, it's half beer and half head, but it will decline as time goes on. And I'll give you a little idea about what the nose smells like. Okay, so I don't know if I could tell that this is peppermint. I could tell it's mint. But, okay, so now my second smell, I can tell it's peppermint. Okay, so it is peppermint. So that's the smell that you get from it, for sure. So, BuMpy, you want to continue on yours?
Whew. Yeah. I sure do. Oh, wow.
Trying to help out, Joseph.
Yeah, I am definitely going to be feeling it after this or during this. I'm already feeling it. So let's add an extra 13% to the mix. Damn, I wish Josh was in here. But yeah, here we go with the Talk City Inky Cap. 13%.
And away we go.
10, 12, 13.
Hike.
Those are your lucky numbers. Play them.
BuMpy, here's number 3.
This is just
2:30
motor oil.
afternoon.
This is like 5-year-old motor oil pouring into the glass.
Yeah, it is. Look at this. It's viscous, isn't it?
Once again, another very black beer. I mean, look at the head on this thing.
Wow.
This is the darkest head
of today.
Yeah,
look at that one.
This beer could be, Darth Vader's water. It's so dark.
Look at that head.
That's black.
Yeah. This is midnight black.
Yeah, it is.
This is you are out in the country, no exterior lighting, middle of the night, dark beer. This is deep. This is like deep in the forest, just like on the can art. And you're gonna find some creepy dude just lurking out
Oh yeah, with the mushrooms.
with the mushrooms.
Hell yeah, mushrooms and lilacs. Come on. Sounds like a nice tea to me.
Some aromas on this.
Mushrooms and lilac. Chug.
I mean, it's definitely got some chocolate notes to it. There's something else, and there's a nuttiness to it. Pistachio, I couldn't quite pinpoint pistachio, but there is a nut smell, and they're using pistachios, so it's got to be pistachio. A little bit of the vanilla comes through. This one's not as chocolatey smelling as the other ones. Like the other two I had from Burlington were more of that kind of like mid-range dark chocolate with the sweetness. You had the vanilla up front with the other one, so vanilla mixing with a dark chocolate, kind of making it a sweeter mid-range dark chocolate, not quite milk chocolate. And then the other one was maple syrup, so it was like a dark chocolate but with maple syrup, which is also a sweetener. So that kind of sweetened up that dark chocolate to make it more of a milder dark chocolate note. This one, the chocolate note's there, but it's not as prominent as the other two beers with the chocolate. There's more of that nuttiness, that pistachio coming through, which is odd. I've had this beer for a while. I drank a few of the other cans I had. I bought a 4-pack. I'm not sure if I gave this to somebody. I may have given a can of this to somebody, maybe, because I only remember drinking a couple of them, but I only have one can left. So it could have been a night that I just don't remember drinking the third can. But it's definitely changed. I've had this for a month and a half now. So canned on date February 24th. So I got this super fresh and I just held on to it. But yeah, the pistachio nuts coming through in the aromas. The cacao nib, I mean, like I said, it's got a chocolatiness to it, but it's not like super chocolate. I can't really say I'm picking up vanilla bean type thing, but it is aged on vanilla beans. Yeah, this one's it's a bit earthier toned than the other two. There's definitely no barrel presence because it's not barrel aged. It doesn't smell as sweet. It smells more earthy toned than the other two imperial stouts that I've had with the sweetness that those ones brought. This is definitely not sweet on the aromatics. So, cheers.
Cheers, BuMpY.
Cheers to you, sir.
We'll get a sparing. This one is definitely full body, thick beer. Very sticky. I'm getting like a graininess out of the malt. There's a bit of a dark chocolate, maybe a slight coffee to this one actually too. A little bit of a coffee note. A little bit of nuttiness in the background. It's not as prominent as it is on the nose, but there is a nuttiness to the finish. Bitterness on this one, I'd say, is above moderate. So this is probably the highest IBU that's noticeable to me. I don't know what the IBUs are on this one, but this one, if I was going to say the other ones were drinking probably around 70 or so, 70 to 80 IBUs, this is probably more like a 90 to 100 IBU. So
how about the booziness and the alcohol?
there's a touch of there's warmth in this one. It's warming. I'm gonna go back in for more. Just damn. All right. So there's pistachio right on the front of the tongue. Kind of chocolate, a little bit coffee. Following up, the bitterness really starts to come through on the mid palate. It lingers on to the end. Kind of earthy toned. For the bittering finish, it does have a big old earth, like almost like soil, earthy.
Yeah.
If you had soil that was like earthworm rich, it's got this kind of grittiness to it, and you definitely feel the 13%.
So this is more boozy than the last one.
Yeah.
Okay.
With due respect, it is an extra percentage, but yeah, it was kind of weird. Like the 10% one had more alcohol presence, even though it was minute, than the 12%. And then I started thinking, well, maybe it's just because my palate's becoming accustomed. But now I'm drinking this one at 13%, and it's definitely there. It's warming in the chest. You kind of notice a little bit of the alcohol on the palate as well, and it's interesting. But we can go to Michael now.
Okay.
Cheers.
I guess.
Hey, how'd that happen?
Went back to BuMpY. Anyway, so this is what it looks like in the glass, and this is, like I said, from Flying Dog, Frederick, Maryland. This is from their, read it back to you, Snowplowed Hibernation Pack, and supposedly it's supposed to be enjoyed optimally by the 22nd of March. So we're almost a month later, and it's very enjoyable. So when you're dealing with a 8.1% stout, don't worry about those dates. They don't mean as much.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting very nice lacing on the side. It's a little bit lighter head, mocha head, but dark brown color. And like I said before, it has a peppermint nose, and that's basically all you're getting. Maybe you're getting some underlying chocolate in there as well, but the chocolate is definitely covered by the peppermint for sure. And here we go. I will taste it. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, you sir.
Cheers, Michael.
Mr. K.
Okay, the peppermint taste envelopes your full mouthfeel. So you're getting
envelopes.
They're saying it's peppermint bark, which I guess intensifies what you're getting, and it is peppermint as the lead flavor for sure. There's chocolate in the background, but it's kind of like the chocolate that you do get is not a dark chocolate. It's almost like your regular standard chocolate, and it's like a backup flavor. It's not strong in the taste. It's mostly the peppermint. For 8%, the alcohol is well masked. You could think this is session. So if you told me this was 5%, I would be cool with you saying it. So they cover the alcohol really well. This is a dangerous beer.
Yeah, right.
But it's almost like when you're dealing with mint can cover up alcohol really well because you're getting the mint as the primary taste, and it makes it seem like it's, don't worry about it, just drink it. And that always can be bad. Mouthfeel is kind of between light and medium, but it's probably at the high end of light. So it hasn't reached medium yet, but it's a little bit heavier than, I guess it's because of the 8% in the alcohol. It's more than your standard stout you'd get, flavored stout anyway. So it's a little bit higher, but it's at the top end of light, bordering on medium. Goes down very easy. and it's very well done. I'm enjoying it. It's balanced. If you're going to draw a conclusion, you could say it's one note because it's more mint than anything else. But the chocolate does match a little bit with the peppermint, so it's not totally one note. It has that combination of the chocolate with the mint, but the mint is the lead taste. And if you can still get the Snowplowed Hibernation Pack, I would recommend you doing it. But the fact that they're telling you that it's past its date, it would probably be hard to find at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of other stuff in it. There was a blonde ale in it as well, and a couple of other Flying Dog beers. It was, I would say, the whole pack was actually a check plus because it was one of the ones I got in the food co-op. So I liked it, but it's not something which you would seek out. If it's there and you can buy it,
right.
you buy it, but it's not something you would necessarily seek out. But I did buy a couple of these after the fact at the co-op, which they broke up from one of the 12 packs, and I was able to get 2 of these. I didn't worry about the dates.
Right.
I just decided it was a stout, so I didn't worry that March 22nd was the best buy date because we're April 15th on our tax deadline, which is
I know, right? Already halfway through this.
I have not filed yet, but I'm about to.
Oh shit!
So about ready to file. But I like this beer a lot, and none of us in all the beers we've done Drunken One have anything close to the quality level of what you cracked open in that.
Oh,
bourbon.
I don't know about all that. Yeah.
No, bourbon Drunken One, Bourbon County is top end stuff. I mean,
It really is. It's world renowned. I mean, as best
whatever.
I know. Yeah, it's a 99 every day of the week. You know, it's a really solid beer. It's a little pricey, but it's worth buying. I mean, it's super thick and roasty. It's heavy on the tongue. It's sweet. The alcohol is well masked for a 14% beer. It's solid. They know what they're doing. They brewed it properly, and I look forward to trying them each and every year they come out. You know, the between them and CBS and KBS and those kinds, you know, those are just awesome beers that they're inspiring. You know, like they said, for 14%, it's really the alcohol. It just doesn't jump out and get you like you think it would at that rate. You know, it's super dangerous when it comes to drinking it. You know, it's thick. It's just I can't imagine. I don't even know what the calories are on this. I'm sure it's loaded with calories, you know, because it is so very, very tasty. You know, I'm sure it's just loaded.
If you're on a diet, do not drink bourbon.
Yeah, it's probably not the right beer for you.
I mean, drink Miller Lite.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's super sticky, just on the lips. The edge of the glass is sticky now, and just it's got a lot of sugars to it. There's a lot of grains went into it. That's why it's so expensive. All those malted grains. Yeah, they really don't give much of anything on here. Develops in the bottle up to 5 years. It says the volume on this one is 1 pint, 0.9 fluid ounces. It says notes of vanilla, toffee, chocolate, burnt sugar, and dried fruit. And yeah, that's totally the right descriptors for this. It almost looks like that 2021 is handwritten on there. You know, they wrote that and they printed it again and again and again.
Trying to get you.
Yeah.
Drunken One, are you aware that BuMpY is planning a cuvee where he's going to combine all his beers together?
Truvee. not a 2, but a 3. A Truvee. Right? We're making up
words something now. To break it up.
BuMpY needs to eat.
I'll be right back.
What do you get when you add 10%, a 12%, and a 13% together?
Drunk.
Exactly.
That's what you get. You get drunk. Cheers 4,000 watching. Beer Man's been here. Is still here. Murphy, he skated out. Said he had things to do at the honeydew list. Square Table was here for a second, unless he's still here. Cheers, Jello Gang. You can soak some of that stuff up, Jesse.
It's the first thing I've eaten all day.
Is it? Yeah, I had some. I took some what you call it, the hash browns, and broke them up and did some like fried potato action and some scrambled eggs this morning. I only had like 2 tamales last night, so I had 2 tamales with some cheese on top of it. I was drinking my dinner.
I blame all this on John and Ellie.
Right?
This was a show that he had planned with Michael.
Oh, right. It is too.
He had work.
It is too. Yeah. I came in here this morning.
He passed the torch to me.
He sure did. I was remember that. I came in and the speaker was like laying over. All the contents on top of it were on the floor. my camera, which was on my other monitor, was like hanging off of the monitor. It's like, what the fuck happened last night?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this: it's a good Friday.
Yeah, it's a good Friday not to be working. I'll tell you that. Yeah,
beautiful day. So after the show does end, I'm going to go out in the backyard and walk around for a little bit.
Right? Catch your breath, get your wits about you.
Woo.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
But yeah, get solid beer. If you're keeping track or whatever, my Squirm Rub, it's a 99, you know.
Okay, I'll write you down.
99.5. Yeah, right. If that's a thing, right? It's a good solid beer. Hopefully they keep making them like that and they don't change it up much because, man, that's good stuff.
Yeah, I think they use different barrels and stuff sometimes each year because they do change. Some years are better than others.
Yeah.
And then some of them, if they're not great, like during that year, like some of them drink like, wow, fantastic the year that they come out. And then some of them, it's like if you age them for a year or two, they turn out to be much better.
Okay, nice. Yeah, this definitely got that bourbon flavor to it. It's like you got a nice thick stout and you poured a shot of bourbon in it. You know, it's one of those. It's pretty dominant. It's not overbearing, but it is dominant. You know, it's or pronounced. I'll put it that way. Not pronounced, maybe not dominant. Trying to get my descriptors right.
Check out my next live stream, driving. You just kidding.
Oh, yeah. Right? Yeah, you might want to get some lunch before you go doing any of that. Right.
No, I don't have to go anywhere today. So
nice, even better. Me neither. Chug, chug, chug.
So, BuMpy, I'll give you my ratings, which I have not done yet.
All right.
On the first one that I did, which Drunken One was watching, but he was not on, Southern Tier 2X Stout, I gave it a 94, which is definitely an A. Yep. It's not great, but it's very good, and one that I think people should definitely pick up if they can. On my Mikkeller, which was a s'more, Beer Geek S'mores Shake, I gave it a 98. So I really enjoyed that a lot. And on this last one, which is the Peppermint Bark Stout, I'm going to give it a 92. So it's an A-, still very good. If you like peppermint in beer, you should definitely get this. If you don't like mint in beer at all, I would stay away from it because the chocolate is not enough that you'd be happy with it because the peppermint is the dominant taste. But it's still an A-, which if you think about it, when you get this in a pack, and that's the, you know, A- being one of the beers, you have to be happy with it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, if that's the worst beer out of your pack, you still did good, didn't you? Right?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll give the Talks Brewing Company one a score as well right now. I still have to drink a little bit more so I can fit it into the triple cuvee. As Joe would call it, a cuvee.
Try it.
Yeah, for a non-barrel aged stout, it is a big ass beer, 13%. Mouthfeel, I mean, it's thick. This is a thick beer. This is one that I didn't appreciate as much when I first bought it. Like I said, I probably had this thing for like a month and a half or so, hanging around. But after having a couple barrel-aged beers, this one, not being barrel-aged, stands out. and I'm gonna give it the 94 out of 100. It's gonna score the same as the Seances and Sacrifices, which was a barrel aged maple imperial stout. Just 1% under the ABV too. So for a non-barrel aged stout, this one brings some interesting flavors. The pistachios coming through, but I do recommend if you pick this one up, give it some time. I think that this beer with like a year or so actually would be even better. I think maybe more of that kind of pistachio nut would come through, because I never noticed that before. I was very disappointed in it. And it just came, like coffee note that I talked about kind of was more of the dominating factor in this beer. And I was just not in love with it. I was very disappointed. So it was like coffee and earthy. And now it's getting some of that pistachio nut aroma and flavor starting to really come through. The vanilla bean, not so much. That's probably the disappointing factor. I think if there's some vanilla, like actual like Madagascar vanilla, kind of coming through in the flavors, adding a bit more sweetness to this one, it would have gotten a higher score for me. Especially being a non-barrel age. That's the probably the most important factor in this, because they are two different worlds, I would say. if you have a standard stout, imperial stout that's not barrel aged versus barrel aging, you can call that cheating. They call it, because they have certain hops that are out there that people use in certain like IPAs, New England IPAs, stuff like that they call cheater hops, like Citra, Galaxy, Mosaic. They consider those like cheater hops because everybody loves them. So you throw those all in your beer and probably have a somewhat decent output.
Oh yeah.
So so barrel aging can be considered cheating, even though it's an extra step that's going to take up some skill and time, but it's definitely going to add some bonus points. And the kids are out of school now, so I'm going to mute myself for a little bit if anybody else wants to talk to me.
Okay. Drunken One, I was going to mention that
Sure.
BuMpY-'s beer is from Two Roads, or was brewed at Two Roads in Stratford, Connecticut. And it's interesting that that's fairly close geographically to me, about probably an hour, a little over an hour away.
Uh-huh.
And they do a lot of different stuff from 12%, which is this importer. So you get a lot of stuff, which is, I don't know, you'd call it beers that they're brewing for other companies. Evil Twin is a big one that they do, and they do a lot of others. And BuMpY-'s had mixed results. He had some that he liked, some he didn't like as much. This one he really did like, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And it's funny because the ones from Evil Twin to me have all been really good. I haven't really had an Evil Twin beer I didn't like. And they do brew a lot of stouts. And I don't know how much Evil Twin stuff can you get in Texas. I don't even know.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure. And that what they call a Gypsy Brewing or whatever.
Right. They don't have a set brewery, and
Yeah.
most of the stuff that they have comes either from there, and they've brewed some stuff in South Carolina as well in the past. But it's be interesting to see long term. At some point, I think they will probably start brewing their own beer, because
certainly, yeah.
it just seems to be the way it's going, and it's exciting on one level because Evil Twin, Mikkeller, his brother, and they're kind of a big part. They're from Denmark, and now they're in the United States, and they're a big part of the stout kind of scene. And they've brewed a lot of the beers. They're not the only one, because obviously we have Founders and Goose Island, Bourbon County, a bunch of other. There's a lot of people in the stout area right now who are brewing barrel aged beers. So we have to watch it carefully, but it looks good for the future of stout beer.
There you go. Yeah. Founders, man, they've got it. They got it nailed down. It's weird because excuse me. Wow, you think of beer and barrel aging, and you think of like a dark, dusty, warehouse where they've got like slats of wood where they roll these barrels in. You know how Founders does it? It's actually literally, excuse me. Wow, I'm gurgling. It's literally underground in Michigan. In Michigan, it's underground. It's well lit. It's automated. It's not anything like you'd think of rolling the barrels through this dark, musty ass warehouse where they're moving the barrels around and shit. It's awesome, man. It's awesome. They do a hell of a job with their products there. KBS does. I mean, Founders does with their KBS products. But yeah,
I was going to say excellent, and the Bourbon County, which comes out of Chicago, also does an amazing stuff with their beer.
Chicago, all right, fair enough. All right, is that where they're from? Chicago.
Chi-Town.
I'm trying to work towards this cuvee.
Okay, so that's going to be the highlight of the show when you combine it and see where it goes.
Yeah.
Oh, it is Chicago, Illinois. You're right, sir.
I've got to drink
you're
more
right.
of this down because it's not going to all fit in the glass. So.
Brewed, barrel aged, and bottled by Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago, Illinois. Yep. And it says develops in the bottle up to 5 years. Yeah, develops in the bottle. Yeah, it's a great product.
No question.
Yeah, when they first came around, they didn't have them on the shelves. You had to ask about them, and so you go to the checkout and you ask about them, and there was a box that was on the floor beside the checkout counter there. And there's a note on there, a little blue sticky note that said "2 only," and I went up there and because I called up there and they said, "Well, yes, we've got them. You just have to ask about it." And so I asked. I said, "I'd like 2 of those bottles, please." And she made it seem like it was like nobody else has ever asked for this kind of beer, and she's got to get the manager. And are you sure it's okay? Are you sure this isn't for another customer or whatever? It's like. No, it says limit 2, and so I'd like to get 2, please. But it was such the to do,
Right.
So
these are all even pours.
Okay, so BuMpY's going to do his cuvee.
Fuck your cuvee. I mean,
I just swirl it. So they were all even. I drank them down to the same level in the glass, which all 3 of them ended up filling up my little.
Oh yeah, baby.
I think this is like a 10-ounce. Glass. This is a glass that you get when you go to a bar or a brewery and you order one of their high percent ABV.
Yeah.
They give you a smaller pour. It's like an 8 to 10 ounce. They won't give you the 12 to 16.
Right.
It's I don't know if it's liability because I mean, if you're drinking just one, whatever, but
no, it's just the cost of the beer.
Yeah, it's probably what it is. They probably want to charge you more for less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it.
BuMpY, are you ready for this cuvee?
I am not.
Right. Well, at least you're honest. Right?
I am quite liberated.
We're all liberated. I'm liberated too.
I'm gonna before doing this, I'm just trying to stir it up right now a little bit. It's difficult. Oh, there we go.
It's funny. I have you at the bottom of my sheet. It says BuMpY cuvee, so I'm ready to write down what you think.
Oh yeah, see.
That is a good, there we go. I got a good swirl going on. I can't do this stuff normally.
Okay, so we could just talk for a while.
I'm going to have some crackers and water before doing this because
it makes sense.
My palate's still kind of set on the talks.
So Mr. K, what you going to do with all this data that you compiled? Are you going to write a book or what?
I don't know, but it's drunken when it's getting so massive. I almost would have to hire people to help me.
Yeah, exactly.
It's astounding how I'm already into my 5th book of this of what I'm doing, and I'm chronicling it, but it's almost like you'd have to get it onto some kind of spreadsheet.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, you have some kind of spreadsheet.
Work out your numbers. I don't know, because as I envision this, I'm 71 years old, and if nothing else, I'm going to leave all my research to my daughter, and hopefully she won't just throw it away.
Yeah, right. I've been working on it for years now. Huh?
I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, she's not into beer. Her husband to be is more into it, but I don't think he's into it on the levels that we're into it. So
Right,
whatever. I
right.
hope she would at least keep it. I mean, she doesn't have to.
Right, right. Well, yeah. You said your daughter, yeah. So yeah, this is what Dad did, and this is I'm sure you have grandchildren by now, or this is what Grandpa did. You know,
she respects what I'm doing, so I don't think she'd just laugh it off. My wife laughs it off more, but I think my daughter at least respects what I'm doing. And that's why I'd leave it to my daughter and not my wife, because she might throw it out.
How many years? So you said your father did this too?
No, I'm the first one to do this beer stuff, but it's almost like you look at it and you say the concept is interesting because craft beer is something that's recent. It's not something that's always gone on.
Right.
I mean, I've been into beer for a long time. I'm 71. Yeah. And I started out with your macro deal and whatever. And once craft beer hit, I said, this is better. I like this better. I'm not saying I'm down on macro. I'm just saying that the craft is better.
Oh, right. Yeah. There's got to be macro. There's got to be macro.
And macro always exists because it's the basis of what happened. But the craft aspect of it now has gotten to the point where you're getting barrel-aged beers. You're getting New England style IPAs, which are totally different than anything we've ever seen before. So the styles have gotten better over time. So in the long run, what we're hoping to happen is that craft beer will continue to evolve.
And it will.
And BuMpY, you're brewing it, so you get the feel to it. And Drunken One, you're a brewer too, so
yes, sir. It's been a while, but I need to get back into it. Yeah, I've moved from the other place to here, and I'm working on it. I need to get some stuff. Anyway, it won't be long. I'm ready to get back to it because
Beer Man is about to start brewing.
Yup, man, he's got a nice setup. Man, he's showed us some pictures of his brewery.
All the stuff together is working in, what would you call it? Hegemony, whatever you want to call it. You call it anything you want. But we're coming together.
Yeah, exactly.
BuMpY is coming.
Beer's come a long way. I never thought. And I'm not being nerdy like a lot of you all are. I'm not, and take no offense, please. But we speak of beer like the wine people speak of their wines. It's the 2016 vintage, and we do that same kind of shit with our beer. I never thought I'd be. I'm not beer nerdy like y'all are, but I never thought I'd be around that like that. Beer is just beer. I don't know. It's something you throw down your gullet to get drunk. Right? You never really. I mean, I never really appreciated beer the way I do now.
Look at his Kool-Aid there.
I knew before was the
BuMpY is almost ready. BuMpY is almost ready.
Almost ready. I'm just cleaning up my village.
More
I still have a little bit left, by the way. I'll have enough when BuMpY does it. I have a little bit left. I'm not going to drink it.
So I've swirled this fairly well. It should be well mixed. And it's at a good temperature. It's probably right around, I would say, 56 degrees based off of my touch. But science is most important. So I'm saying 56 degrees. Let's go ahead and get the thermometer out.
Oh, shit. Here we go.
He's going to actually test it.
The old laser.
What it is. I love it.
I got one of those.
Yeah, I was a little off. 68 degrees. So.
Oh, yeah. Only 20 degrees up. 18 degrees up. But who's counting?
But warmer is okay.
Well, yeah, for stouts, of course. Yeah.
By hand touch. Yeah. So what this is a cuvee between my first beer of the day, which I scored a 92. The Choir of the Dead from Burlington Beer Company. It is an Imperial Vanilla Stout aged in bourbon barrels, 10%. It is even, these are miraculously evened out portions. I eyeballed it based off my drinking glass. Another one from Burlington Beer Company. This one is called Seances and Sacrifices. It is an Imperial Maple Stout aged in maple bourbon barrels, 12% ABV. I scored that at 94. And then Talks City Brewing or Talks Brewing Company. Inky Cap. Imperial Stout aged on pistachio nuts, vanilla beans, and cacao nibs at 13%.
Yeah.
BuMpY was
all
not
mixed-
fooling. He wasn't fooling around today.
I know
all
that's
mixed
right, man. Those are some big
together.
beers, all three of them.
So if you add all those up, this is like 54% ABV.
What? No, it's not like that. You know, I think
It's
you'd
action,
kind of
BuMpY, and we're
ABV.
ready. Is it time?
It's time. It's
Getting
the
some
moment we've
aromas,
all been waiting for. I'm shutting my
Yeah, it's got chocolatey notes. The pistachio nut still comes through. There's a vanilla mix in there. This isn't a bad aroma. I would say that the Toxicity Inky Cap comes through the most. Oh my god, this is I've spilt some of this. My glass is so sticky right now. This is like tar sticky. This is sticky.
37,000 calories.
BuMpY, I'm excited. I'm excited about this.
60 ribs.
I'm excited about how you're going to like this one.
Yeah, so it's a bit.
What could go wrong?
The maple surprisingly is not coming through. I could have added a bit more of the maple bourbon one. Maple's not really coming through. I do get the vanilla. I do get some of the oakiness, but the pistachio type aroma and a little bit of like a coffee and chocolate, that all kind of comes through. The smells interesting. It kind of reminds me of like a Prairie Bomb a little bit from I don't know the name of the brewery, but they're at the Prairie Beers.
They're in Iowa, I think.
Yeah, but everybody thinks it's Prairie Brewing Company. It's not. They call them Prairie, but they're Chico Brewing Company or something like that. It starts with a K. All right.
I have a little bit left to toast with you, BuMpY. My last shot.
Cheers. I'm going to...
Cheers. Drunken one, too. Cheers.
Surely.
Cheers. Cheerios.
Cheerios.
How's that cuvee?
Flat.
Okay. We knew that could happen.
Yeah, well, from swirling it around and how long a lot of these have sat. Yeah, it does have a flatness to it.
Is it flavorful?
What flavors are still left?
Chocolate. Lots of mid-range chocolate, special dark chocolate. There's a touch of coffee. It is earthy. That Toxicity one is just taking over for the most part. Lots of like earthy tones on the back end, but it's not overly bitter either. It's still it kind of brings it down. It's kind of in that moderate bitterness. I would say a touch of oakiness and a little bit of vanilla in there.
Where would you rate the cuvee in terms of score?
If this was like a natural, I'm going to have to go in for more. That was the first swig.
Okay, take your time.
Without considering this being a cuvee, if this was I have to base my score based off of if this was an actual beer that was produced. Because trying to pick it. All right, here we go.
Here, take another sip and give it your shot.
Just gonna be loaded here in a minute.
It's a very full body as well. I would say that extremely full body on this one. Motor oil thick. The ABV is well hidden with all of these combined at 10, 12, and 13%. It's very chocolatey. Dark chocolates. Bit of the pistachios kind of come through still. Maple is kind of left out on this one. I wish that I'd had more of the Seances and Sacrifices for the maple because the maple's getting left out. It's warming though. Definitely warming.
Leaves you warm and fuzzy.
And I mean, besides the flatness of it, it's got a very full body. It's thick. A little bit of that coffee note in there too. If this was just an imperial stout I'd probably give this one like right around a 94 as well. It's not bad. I think a lot of the inky caps coming through though. I think that's basically you get a little bit of that kind of oaky bourbon type thing, but in the vanilla, but it's more or less that inky cap is overtaking a lot of the other brews in this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting, BuMpY, that it proves that one beer can overtake two other ones from Burlington, where the other one was the key thing that came through, which is interesting.
Yep. But it's right around the same. Like it's, even though it's got a little bit of that, it'd be like if you had a bourbon barrel aged stout, and then if, like I'm saying, if the cuvee was an actual beer and it was a bourbon barrel aged or whatever, aged in maple bourbon barrels and or bourbon barrels with pistachios and vanilla and maple syrup and cacao nibs. 94 is kind of where it landed. It's like it's missing some factors. It's decent. It's a good imperial stout, but it's missing on some key factors. But still very drinkable. So interesting that I didn't have anything above a 94 today. That's
and they all averaged out to a 94. So that's I mean, that's awesome. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean,
like I said, if you can find this
sure.
Mikkeller, I don't know how well it's going to be distributed. Beer Geek S'mores Shake, pick it up. I gave it a 98. I don't know if everybody else would agree it's that high, but again, BuMpY and I were discussing this cherry thing that he had in his first beer and I had in this one, which were big factors in why I thought it was that good.
All right.
If I could get more of that, I would get it. It's definitely top notch and world class.
Oh yeah, man.
Sure.
We'll certainly buy it again. No, that's good. That's good.
And I would buy it again if I could get it.
Certainly.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's the last one of those I had. I got two of them in my Tavor Stout package.
Salute.
Woo! Am I plastered?
So,
is
that a question or a statement?
This was a very successful Stout Good Friday adventure.
Yes, it was. Jeez, I'm crow. It's a good way to,
and I'm feeling it too.
Have your Friday. I mean, I'm gonna go. Like I said,
we got it. BuMpY, good idea to eat some food now, though, to soak up some.
Right. So, right. You got some a baked potato. You might be able to throw in the microwave. Poke some holes in it, slap it in the microwave for 5 minutes, and you're good. Cover it with some cheese and butter and some sour cream.
BuMpY still has Alex's deal to do later, so he has to come back down to reality.
Yeah.
Food Friday.
Another stout.
Food Friday later for
Food Friday. Honey buns or sticky buns or sweet buns or cinnamon buns,
with
cinnamon
stouts.
rolls,
With stouts. Drunken one with stouts too. So you had another stout.
Well, I mean, did he actually say? Did he actually say stouts? Or I mean, that's really what would go with that, I think. But did he say the beer also?
You can probably bring anything, but
oh yeah, Alex is easy. You don't care.
It's been a very stout Friday. I can tell you that.
For sure.
So far,
I'll remember this one for a long time, BuMpY and drunken one.
Oh, you bet, man. I don't know. I was sitting around.
Thanks for joining.
For a while ago, and I was like, well, they're opening another one, and I had no intentions on drinking this today whatsoever. But I was like, oh man, they're on the third one. I'm fucking hungover from last night. I already poured up a mixed drink of some screwdrivers with double the vodka. Try to get my wits about me. I was like, all right, I'll jump in with these guys. Have this 14% barely.
It's been really fun, Drunken One and BuMpy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, well, no, thanks for doing all this. Like I said, it was kind of thrown at me last night, and I was like, yeah, I can do it, and I didn't quite know what the what exactly was set up between you and John. So I was just kind of like, yeah, I can do it. They're thinking like, a few stouts, but woo.
Yeah, no. Gormroff's easy. He was just looking for somebody to hang out with. He's like, I got this time off, right?
I'm glad that we got it done early, because at least this can process through my system. If this was like right before I had to go to bed to wake up for work, oh boy,
it would be trouble.
It would be trouble, because you're gonna like lay down and go whoa. But
BuMpy, thanks for hosting, though. I appreciate the fact you stepped in.
Thanks to you guys for being here. Cheers, Michael Kormaroff. Cheers to Dio. Thank you for joining in as well.
You bet, man.
Thank you to the chat also for showing up. This was just it was off the cuff. It wasn't like something that's a normal every Friday at 1 p.m. come and watch my show. So
yeah, right.
I think that's pretty cool that you guys actually showed up in the chat. So cheers to everybody that ended up watching and chatting it up. And I appreciate you guys for all being here. Woo!
Woo!
All right, one more sip. I'm gonna end this, and
okay.
Till next time. Cheers. If anybody has any shout outs, do you have any shout outs? Anybody?
I got some shout outs. I guess I'll do a quick one. I got a video editing program again, and so I know it's been last 6-8 months. I guess I've been talking about how when I get my program, I'm gonna do more shit. Anyway, I got a video on my on my channel last week or whatever. I'm gonna do some more. Look out! I'm back on YouTube, boys. Look out! Right. All right.
BuMpy, Stout.
Cheers to John and Ellie, and I'm glad you helped him out for this.
Stout Sunday on John and Ellie's channel, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Dear man, yeah.
And hopefully somebody, BuMpy, I know you're working, but hopefully somebody else will join. And it's always fun, and we have a good time. And
it really is,
hopefully people will join us and whatever. BuMpy, thanks for hosting today. We appreciate it.
Cheers, yeah.
Take care, beer man. I see you over there. Great show, guys.
Join Stout Sunday, and that should be right after everybody finds all those colored eggs that were hidden, right?
Oh, I guess so, huh?
It's an Easter Stout Sunday, so
that's right.
Right.
Easter Stout Sunday.
Yeah, hide the plastic.
Cheers, everybody. Drink the water. Eat your crackers.
Watch out for the cuvées, the Truvées, the three. The Truvées.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you all.
Cheers, everybody. Enjoy. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Take us out of here.